Now, I will be 100% honest in saying that this was meant to be a scripted video. I have the script up next to me, and I have already tried to record this. I went on a rant, but I don't know. I was originally going to talk about what's wrong with Skate. Without talking about what's wrong with every other game, I kind of failed in doing that. It's hard to pinpoint what's wrong with Skate. I have a bunch of small things that I dislike, and I've just kind of jammed them together, but I don't know. Let's start with Skate 3. Now, I remember, back in my day, I remember booting up. We had an old Xbox 360 to play, and we had a secondhand version of Skate. And me and my brothers, we would just do some dumb lines for a few hours. We'd find the dumbest stuff we could do in the quarry, in that massive skate park that I can't remember the name of. Even the giant street, and we'd just see if we could coffin all the way down without hitting any cars, right? We 100%ed that game at least 5 times, maybe more. And look, we'd do anything from, Hall of Meat, from the tallest spots we could find in the map. We'd try to find insane lines, like I just said, especially in the quarry, and then we'd smash our head against that stupid railing at the bottom, ruining the entire run. But anyway, so I can imagine most people had a similar reaction to me when I heard that Skate was being announced for early access, released on the 16th of September 2025. I was quite happy, genuinely excited that we could finally smash our faces into poles in a new Skate game. And to be honest, I missed the initial release. I was planning on playing it straight away. I did not, hence why I'm recording this on the 8th of October. But look, life goes on, Work was hectic. I wanted to do other stuff. I saw Smitty post a video on Skate, and I was super excited. I love Smitty, love Skate. Boom, smash them together, right? Then I realized then he just said he wasn't talking about the game. He didn't actually enjoy it as much as he did. Now, he did, and he had a bunch of things to complain about. Now, I said, he's wrong. Screw that. I'm playing this game. Ignored it, downloaded it as quickly as I could, and by that I mean today, almost a month later, hopped in, started recording because I wanted to get my first reactions. And as far as I was concerned, it was one of the games that brought me and my brothers together just a little bit. Now, I spent the first 30 minutes of this game trying to get it to launch, which is expected from an EA game, let alone an early release EA game. Once I got it to work, I spent the next 30 minutes punching out the tutorial and getting to the city as quickly as I could. As soon as I got out of the tutorial level, which I don't know why there's no coach. Coach Frank was fun, but anyway, I got blessed with more tutorials in the city. More challenges that were just the same thing again and 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 again. Incredibly repetitive. He walked me through how to play the game about 20 times, and it was for an hour straight, pretty much. Now, tutorials aren't an issue. Every game has them because you need to learn how to play, right? That's how it works. But if they take an hour and a half to let you play, that's the issue. I genuinely haven't even finished all of the challenges, all of the tutorials, so it very well could be a much longer tutorial, but I just don't have time. Now, I know the game is a bit buggy. It's early release. I wasn't able to grab my board for a bit, but, if it's not a full release, it's expected that there's some bugs. Bunch of game-breaking ones, but bugs, that's neither here nor there. But being followed around by some random AI voice person, was it something like that? And then a random lady called Lizzie, who I haven't met in the game. She's just a PNG on the bottom right of my screen. Unlike every other character in Skate 3, like Coach Frank, that you could meet, and he actually taught you some stuff. And then afterwards, the same AI voice, kind of annoying, right? I wanted to jump on, do some stupid stuff, finish a tutorial, and then skate like an idiot. And I was essentially forced into every single tutorial ever for an hour. And it's just ruined all the fun for me. Look, I've heard a lot of people complain about Hall of Meat, that there is no Hall of Meat, so I'm not going to touch on it too much. I will, to EA's credit, there is a little bit of it. It's just a bit bad. It's half-baked. There's no, breaking bones. There's no scoring. The physics of it is kind of funny, but I digress. Something I've heard a lot of people say, and Smitty touched on it in his video as well, is that it feels like it's a character customization game rather than a skating game. Like I said, he touched on it already, but I imagine the 3 people that are watching that aren't my wife or my mother have already seen Smitty's video anyway, so. But look, the concepts are awesome, the characters look amazing, but I couldn't grab my board during a challenge. I had to restart the game 3 times, change my Steam controller settings to soft touch for the trigger so that I could, and even then I could only grab it with my left trigger. I can't use my right one. The game has failed to launch so often, or gotten stuck in loading so often that I've spent more time waiting to play than actually playing. And when I do get to play, it's tutorials. The battle pass is available, so that's a thing. But most of the tricks, like, I can't flip, I can't grab, but that's a bug, I hope. They're all still in development. Most of the board flip tricks are in development. The idea of having a game is just gone. And this is where I digress in the original video. I've thrown it in the script here because it's funny. The only other game I've bought recently is 2K26. And even that, it feels like it's back in 2K2 or 2K10. It's the same game, and granted it's a sports game, so they're all the same, but there's just too many cutscenes and storylines, and you don't get to play. With 2K26 in particular, it downloads the shaders every single time. Because I live in the middle of nowhere, and friends that are watching this video know that I live in the middle of nowhere, my internet is not that good. So having to download really demanding shaders every single time takes me 30 to 45 minutes every time I launch the game, which means I want to play a game when I get home from work, where I have an hour of free time before I have to go to bed to wake up for my next shift, and most of that is waiting for the game to be playable. I've genuinely started playing games on my phone, the Dune game, that little ball game, Rider, which is the same thing with a game I've been playing is Retro Bowl. I can actually play those games. Some of them have ads and bundles and, the same things, pay to win. But the game is actually there. Granted, it is a simple game, but I can play it. That's what I want from a game, is to game. Now, the Skate, you can't grab on the cars, and Smitty touched on these as well. Dark slides, you can't do a bunch of the hand plants, you can't flip. Look, if Skate 3 could do it, surely you could do it, 10 years later, 10, 15 years later. And they have made some good changes, but the amount of good changes they've made are nowhere near outweighing the bad changes that have been made. And it is free to play, so, it kind of makes sense why it's Battle Pass and you pay, because they have to make their money. It is a business at the end of the day, but they just shove it down your throat so often. Every other game costs over $100 now in Australia, pretty much, or close to it. So, and even they shove it down your throat. Skate shoving it down your throat is a bit more understandable, but come on. Let's have a game first before we start getting people to spend the money, But 50% of the gameplay once I got out there was, unlocking a different shirt. Then I'd be made to do another challenge, which was the same challenge as the last one. And then I would unlock a bunch of pants. And then I'd get told to go to the store and level up and unlock more pants. Then I'd go to the next thing, which is the exact same challenge. It just wasn't a game. I wanted a skating game, but that's not what it is. Now, the reason I say it'll be hard to talk about Skate, hence why it's 9 minutes into this video already, Skate without every other game, is because Skate is suffering from everything else that every other game suffers from. And I don't want to make a video about every single game. That's next week. But they're becoming increasingly more profit-driven. It makes it impossible to play and enjoy. I do not want to work 3 hours of my life to buy a game that is so poorly made that it turns me away from it in less than an hour. Most of the time, and I've stopped buying new games, but when I do, the reason I keep playing them, I've been putting hours into 2K, just so I can get my money back. It doesn't make it an enjoyable experience when the whole purpose of me playing a game is so that I can get my money's worth on a game that I hate, because it's just lost everything about it that was fun. I can't even launch, and this is a side topic again, I can't even launch Minecraft Java Edition anymore on my computer. I don't know why. The error it's an error -1. All of the fixes I've tried don't work. I have literally restarted, reinstalled, deleted everything, deleted everything to do with Minecraft in general or the Microsoft Store, and then reinstalled everything. It still doesn't work. The only other option is to reboot completely reset my computer, and I really don't want to do that for one game. Anyway, it's ever since it's swapped over to the Microsoft stuff, so once again, big company that can't seem to figure out the small stuff. Alright, but, while we're on this topic, Balatro, $20 card game of the year. I don't get it. I do get it. The smaller companies actually have to make a profit, and because they don't have people following them, so they just make a good game, sell it for somewhat cheap, and then when it works, people are really happy that it actually works. Look, I'd wanted to stay on topic. That didn't work. I've somehow gone even more off the rails than my second version of the script, which allowed me to go off the rails. And this is what the crux of the issue, I guess. It just seems like The bigger companies do not care. To bring it back to Skate, they've scrapped everything that everybody enjoyed about the game. The story mode is gone, there's no more single player. Hall of Meat is gone. And they have the roadmap. You'll be able to create parks in the future. There'll be more tricks coming. It'll be a bit more fleshed out. Sure. Why not have that in the game to begin with rather than the transactions? And I'm not saying everything. I am in no way saying, why don't they have a perfect game on an early release? That's never going to happen, right? No matter what company you are never going to have a perfect release. But, the basics of the game, a skate game that is missing most of the tricks, isn't a skate game then, right? What's that old skating game on your phone where you can, they have the tricks. And that was, 100 years ago at this point? Another issue this is just a prediction, but this game is going to be dead within 10 years. When the people stop playing, they'll gut the servers like they have with every other game. You won't be able to play it because there's no single player. You have to access the online servers to play. They just don't care. They just keep pumping the crap out, and it's all online, and it's all going to be dead, and then we're just going to have to put up with it. Because if everybody else keeps buying the games, there's no point in us not playing the games, right? That's alright. Nintendo. Nintendo is what? They've made $2 million, I think. Honestly, the figures are a bit misleading when I tried to do the research. They've sold a lot of units for the Nintendo Switch 2. I haven't bought it. I haven't actually read the terms and conditions. From what I've read, they can essentially brick it for no reason whatsoever, and you can't sue them. If you buy a secondhand game, you haven't paid full price for it, they can brick your Switch. Now, I have a Switch 1, the first one, right? I bought it for 100 and something Australian, because it didn't work. So I bought it, found out what was wrong with it. It was the SD card reader or whatever at the back. Got a cheap replacement, fixed it myself, bam. I've got a whole new Switch for $200. If I'd done that with the Switch 2, I'm willing to put money on the fact that I would have been banned. It's stupid. That's essentially just waste. If something goes wrong, you either have to spend a stupid amount of money on getting it repaired or risk getting banned, which means that you chuck it out anyway. Stupid. I have genuinely lost my place in the script. Give me a second. Resetting. Now, as I said, I have 100%ed Skate 3 at least 5 times. Maybe half a dozen, maybe more. I tried to find a way to reset my progress so that I could get clips for this video. Because 2 hours into recording or trying to record a video, I gave up and I wanted to make a complaint video. There is no way to reset that I can find. The only way is to make a new account. So that's what I've done. However, a common issue is I have noticed so many people have gotten their accounts reset when they didn't want it to. So, once again, that's a genuine issue. And I wanted to get footage from the tutorial island because that is the most fun part, and I've seen so many people say that. But, once again, it's an early access game. I have seen some people complain. Well, I've been complaining, all the challenges are quite repetitive. And they've been saying the same thing with the places. All these places are kind of boring and you're not thought out. Yeah, once again, it's an early access game. They've given you the option to put everything on the ground and make your own little skating thing, So, I'm not too bothered about that, And it's a bad release. Everybody is, Cyberpunk had a terrible release and then it came good. But the issue, this ties it back. Not really. It's a bad release. People complain about it, they hate it. They stop playing it. If you have spent the money, it doesn't make a difference to the companies. If they're a business that are in it for the money, and they just pump out something like Skate, and it's half-baked, not really made, and you can buy things, and then people go, oh, I want to buy that. And then they stop playing after a week. EA doesn't care. They've made their money, right? If everybody complains, let's use Cyberpunk as an example. That game sucks, it's terrible, why have they made it? Well, you've bought a $90 copy, they're making their money back. So they're gonna do it again. And I do it too, I bought Cyberpunk as well. I'm playing Skate, right? Or 2K26. I haven't played an NBA game since I had a computer. It's been so long. And it was $100? Yeah, $99.95 in Australia. The new FIFA game is $110. Wow. All of these companies are going to continue to pump out the crap. Why? Because it works. They don't care. And because we don't care either, and we don't have any respect for the rest of us, it's just going to keep happening, right? And it's essentially the prisoner's dilemma on a massive scale. If I don't buy the game, I say, no, I'm taking a stand. I don't want to buy any of Nintendo's games. I'm not going to buy any more games for the Switch, right? I do that. I went to work the day after I decided that, and everyone was like, the Switch 2 came, it's a couple $100, but it was, the games are good. So what difference does it make that I haven't bought it? right? Or this tie back to Skate, because this was meant to be a Skate video, but I've been rambling for 20 minutes. If I don't play Skate, I say, nope, I don't want to, I put my controller down. No, I'm not playing it. I wanted better. I expected better. I toss it. I don't play it. And then everyone else plays it. Bigger YouTubers make videos on it. And this is not me trashing the bigger YouTubers. And then all of a sudden everyone goes, ooh, I want to play that game. Everyone else plays it. 5% of people saying, I don't want to play that game, I hate that company, is not going to change anything. Realistically. So if the rest, if everybody, and when I say everybody, if the collective majority decide they're going to put up with it, then the companies are going to continue to do it. Look, I got really sidetracked. I won't talk about anything else because it's 20 minutes already of my audacity. But look, EA removing everything that's fun about Skate and then marketing it like a store. Like Smitty said, it's a store first, and that's it. But then it's not a skating game. It's a Barbie game where you customize your character, or it's a Roblox customization screen. I don't really know. I think this video turned into more of a games and companies are turning evil than skating is bad. I don't know. What I might do is I might just download an emulator and play Skate 3 and get sued into the ground because I was doing an unlicensed game. But there's really no other option. You keep supporting an indie game, they will inevitably become a thing. And it's not the game companies either. Here's the issue that I have, is so often I'll see it. A game will be so good, and then it'll be bought by the likes of Ubisoft, EA, I can't even think of any bigger ones at the minute, And it'll just go downhill, because then the bigger companies say, no. We own you, we want to make money. And they make billions upon billions of dollars. EA profit 2024. Let's look at last year's profits. 5.693 billion. So if they just keep doing it, and they keep making the profit, and the smaller companies have no choice but to do the same, then it's over. Every now and again, we'll find some indie game that is amazing. We'll support that company. They'll get bought out. The same thing will happen. So unless a majority of people decide to stop playing the big games, it's not going to happen. People have been ragging on Call of Duty for the last 10 years and saying that it's going downhill. And then they still buy it and spend hundreds of hours on it. Nothing's going to change. I'm becoming the slow jack. Nothing ever happens. But realistically, I hope that Skate actually does come good. I hope it becomes fun. If in that, whatever the roadmap is, season 1, they add some more tricks and it becomes fun, I might pick it back up again. If it stays free to play, I will pick it back up again. But otherwise, I just don't see it continuing. Yeah, look, side note, I'm going to start trying to do more of these types of videos. I actually find them more enjoyable to make. I find talking to myself weird when I'm playing a game. I just don't see as much fun in it. I don't know. I find more fun doing a little bit of research, or this one just ranting. I've been watching more of those types of videos. Shout out Diamond Bolt and Smitty for that one video about Skate. So we'll see how we go. I only make a video a month anyway, and I get about 2 views. So if you're one of those 2 viewers, like and subscribe so that I can, annoy more people with my 20-minute videos on Skate. Alright, bye everyone.
A sarcastic duh here? You've done it! I hope you enjoyed the magical musical mystery tour. Keep on finding fun new ways to get those FTPs. Speaking of getting around the city, what's next?
2 hours.
Crush some challenges?
I've done it.
See the sights? Your call. Skater. You might be wondering if you've been here. Okay, this is the start of the middle of our ender part of the tour. Let me show you.
I thought I was done, but I'm not.